rooted in the theory that markets are efficient, and that markets are efficient because of active managers setting the prices of securities. Firms like Citadel. That markets are efficient because of active managers setting the prices of securities. Firms like Citadel, firms like Fidelity, firms like Viking Global, Capital Research. We're all running large teams of people that are engaged in fundamental research, trying to drive the value of companies towards where we think they should be valued. Trying to drive the value of companies towards where we think they should be valued. And passive investing, in a sense, enjoys the market efficiency that we create in our work each and every day.
What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Please do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right here, right? This post coming in from Darren. AMC, as of CAT system implementation, retail owns 98.75% of the float. Let that sink in, right? Let's go ahead and now move on to the next post here. And this is something that I just went over on the GME video, right? The Massachusetts security regulator has said they are investigating Roaring Kitty for his GME GameStop positions. Fair enough. Okay, but take a look at this. Let's look at the Massachusetts reps and their trading, right? This rep right here sits on the Congressional Subcommittee on Labor, Health, and Human Services. She bought shares in HoloLogic, ticker symbol HOLO, a week before the U.S. Department of Health awarded the company $119 million of COVID-19 contract, right? She sold after the shares spiked days later. This rep here was months late, disclosing stock sales, never faced a penalty. This rep here was also late, failing to disclose his ROST sells and TJX buys. What about this one here? Sold 250,000 of the ATVI Activision on June 13th. Later that exact day, the Activision ticker, ATVI, and Microsoft MSFT acquisition was blocked by the US FTC. Incredible. Now, what about here? Also traded stock before the COVID-19 drop and bought tons of tech stocks before vaccines were announced. Most of their portfolios are beating the market, outperforming the broader markets at the very moment now. Very curious times in here. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this right here. So let me get this straight, says the financial surfer, right? Let me get this straight. The SEC wants to take a look into the Roaring Kitty for posting literal video clips, but completely are going to disregard the quadrillions of tokens used to short the stocks, FTX candle on AMC and GME. Well, yeah, very interesting stuff right here, right? So I wanted to just bring to you a little bit of what's happening currently. So now let's go ahead and just kind of dive in to the charts to see currently what's happening, right? We need the immediate short-term time frame. We need everything necessary here to just kind of identify where we're presently sitting. So what I'm going to do is introduce first the 4-hour chart, right? And the 4-hour chart here is disclosing that we are near an inflection point, right? So this inflection point, notice that the price action is moving, guys. Yes, we still have about, 6 minutes left, or just under 6 minutes, right, to close the post market. So yeah, let's take a look at this tweezer bottom here, right? That is your current inflection point. The inflection point, it's in reference to a critical support, one that must not be broken before we face some critical downside. If we start getting some closures right here, maybe even an hourly candle would do it for me, really. But failing that $4.56 zone, 455 down here, would cause the stock to kind of fall to a near zone. Right here, the 50% would land at about 445. Right, you're gonna get that bounce from there. This is speaking if it does happen. Right, you would fall down into the 445 level, validate the resistance of this tweezer bottom here, and this would cause price action to continue to the downside into realizing the closure of this gap. Right, huge gap. And that target would be located at the top of that red candle that we just saw at around $4.35 before creating some type of validation of resistances around this level here. So we have to be careful over what's happening here. GME is also sitting at a critical point as well. Okay, so why don't we just go ahead and take a look at volatility versus momentum here. This is volatility representing the disbursement of returns, and this is stochastic momentum representing direction, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the immediate short term, right? So let's look at this on a granular level. This is your 15-minute time frame indicating a continuation to the downside. But I do have a little bit of curiosity within this downside as well, because if we were to kind of plot out what we're doing here in a cluster of candles, then there is the potential of us building a bull pennant, right? So that means that in the Euro markets, there could be a breakout to the upside from this formation, right? So naturally, these triangles tend to give us about 3 different targets, right? I would say that the breakout would happen just about at this point here, the next opening candle, which would be Euro Open, 1 a.m. Pacific time, 4 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Central, right? So let's just go ahead and apply this here to observe the next target, which could be at around $4.83. The next 2 targets, because triangle family does tend to have 3 targets to observe, right? This would be the center of the triangle, and then, of course, the largest end, which would be the rear end of the triangle, right? And that's going to take you down to this level approximately, right? So let's go ahead and plot out that middle of the target here. We're going to, implying here that we would break out from the same place. That would take you to $4.89, followed by the next target, which usually is the less probability one, but still we have to mark it down because that's the strategy. That would take you to about $4.98, which would be just very similar just to what was happening here to GME. It would be very similar to your Euro market open and pre-market U.S. equities here could fluent to that top side of $5, right? The 498 is what I'm saying. Okay, so now just like we did with GME, let's go ahead and take into consideration a range high to range low, right? From the post-market Fibonacci ratio, and take a look at that, right? We're landing perfectly in the 50% between a 2-spot 618 golden mean and a 2-spot 272 Fibonacci ratio. Let's go ahead and now take a look at this and kind of round it, right? Or circle the range and take a look at that. Here's your 50% range right at that target that we were speaking of, right? Not to mention the fact that we're looking at the center of the triangle, right? This target here is landing at about $4.88, but the 1-spot 618 golden mean is landing right inside of that $4.89, which is very confluent by 1 cent. Of course, we need to take into consideration this area here, right? So let's go ahead and make that into a range as well so that everybody is aware with what the targets can be presenting for the immediate short term. So that would be the 488 bottom, right? 499 or 489 center of the triangle, and of course the top end of $4.91. So and yeah. So very good. So now here's the other thing, right? Price action was essentially coming down from this area here, right? We opened it up in the broader. This is that pump to the upside that we got in the post market, right? What ended up happening here is that we ended up getting a retracement from this top side, and price action drop, and now look at where it's sitting, right? Take a look at where it's sitting. We're bouncing off of the this is the 382 Fibonacci ratio, in other words, known as the golden pocket, right? So let me just go ahead and identify that and highlight it for you right here, because this is a very important zone for price action to fall into when retracing. This can usually work as a spring. The last time we identified this was actually when Roaring Kitty posted his position. When he posted his position and price action rocketed to the upside. We did not know that he was going to post that position, but we were already identifying that there was going to be a pop to the upside by the simple fact that we were hovering around this golden pocket, right? So yes, remember, the golden pocket is usually located, or it is located between the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio and the 0.382 extension, right? This is going to be, in this case, located between $4.78 to $4.75. And it's very curious that we're at the apex of the triangle and in the golden pocket, which could serve as a spring. I do expect a continuation to the upside here in the immediate short term, and I guess we can validate it too, right? Let's take a look at maybe an RSI on here, right? So yeah, it looks like the RSI. Right. Yeah. Take a look at my cursor here as it's moving left and right. See on the top end where the candles are? It's moving right around there. I just have a different setup happening here, right? I just want all my tools located in I just need them the way I need them is what I'm trying to say, okay? All right, so yes, what we're noticing here is that the RSI, yes, it is in the 50% zone, but if you zoom into that RSI, let's take a look at it a little more closely, right? This is in the gravitational point here, right, from the 50%. Every single junction, 2% up or down, has a gravitation. So in this case here, we would be pushing to the pull to the upside because of that gravitation. Now, the SMA 14 is starting to display a little bit of an upside pivot here, so it may actually be easier for us to combat that upside. But until then, this will be also considered consolidation, okay? Another thing to notice here is that, yes, this is also expressing a regression, right? Take a look at this right over here. There you go. So we are definitely in a pennant, just like we are on the price action, expecting a pullback right here. Yes, you could use formation analysis inside of momentum as well. Specifically the RSI, I would not use it on the RSI, on the stochastic RSI or stochastic momentum, right? So let's go ahead and now come back to the price action here. And yes, I do think that there could be an upside continuation in the immediate short term. Price action here would essentially come back down if it fails down to the 2.236 of let's see, what is it? $4.73 confluent to the 236 at 474. Okay, but yeah, I do expect it to continue on here to the upside. It looks like price action has now stopped, and it did stop inside of the golden pocket. Very, very bullish. Okay, so now the next day, of course, we're just going to get the pop to the upside, and of course, it's going to end up coming back down like it always does, right? So if we're looking at top-bound targets, there is a potential here in the after-hours trading for us to reach all the way up to these levels, no problem. Right, $4.96 to $5. But yes, I do expect price action here to overall retrace or come back down near the areas where we ended up closing, intraday today, around that 478 mark, right? Which is very curious because 478 close is the NOT 618 at 478. So everything is geometrical here, team. So let's just wait up for it. We're and see what it does. Guys, the reason I know this is because I am a stock instructor, right? I am, guys, this may be the very last one here, but please get in touch with me at ArcMastersCourse because I am offering a 5-week mentorship for beginners, okay? For beginners in trading and charting. And it's just there are big things coming in for the ARCa Bulls trading team, which may prevent me from continuing the educational courses. Okay, so reach out to me at ArcMastersCourse at Gmail and know that we're absolutely looking into the price action here every single day for AMC and GME. Okay, so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to just go ahead and show you right up here the link for you to join the ARCa Bulls trading team, right? I want to see you there. No excuses. Make sure to be there live and present at 6 a.m. sharp Pacific time, and that's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern time. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to reach out to me with any questions you may have. All right, thank you. Please, let's see, do not take anything of what I say in these videos as any form of entertainment, of any form of financial advice. Take it as entertainment only, right? I can't suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets ever, guys. I can't do that. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, I wish you well, a very good rest of your night or day, and I'll catch you at the Bell Mañana. Adios, team.